want to take this moment to discuss something with you that has many people shaken. Over the years, some things have happened with a particular company that has raised some red flags with a few folks, and now they are convinced that their worst nightmares are coming true. I'm talking about Walmart FEMA camps. Word on the street is they've been transporting hurricane refugees into these camps, and horrible things are happening there. So I want to talk about this. Do you really want to know what's going on? Well, I want to point some things out about this that are not really being discussed. There are some people out there who are very well-meaning and they want to provide you with the best information available. But it is difficult to see the whole picture when you keep finding the same bits of information over and over from different people. And if you do not look into these things yourself, it is going to be very hard to make sense of what these people are saying. And what they are saying about Walmart is quite disturbing, but only part reality. So this is one of those times you are really going to have to use your powers of discernment to establish what is an incredible fiction and a terrible truth. So due to recent catastrophic events, people are concerned, and some are convinced that this is the work of the government. You know, you hear people talking about CERN, HAARP, weather manipulation, leading into discussions about FEMA camps and coffins, martial law, the depopulation agenda. I know some people do not believe these things are happening, but there are some people, all they want is the truth. And they believe they are not getting it. So they are going to take some of these stories and run with them. And that's fine, but not everything is what it seems. Let me give you an example. You've all seen this before, right? The Georgia Guidestones. Now, the common theorist consensus about this monument is that the evil scum of the ruling class, they want to wipe us out. They want to depopulate the earth, reduce the population below 500 million, right? That's what it states, yes? No, that is not what it states. It doesn't state reduce the population. It states to maintain the population. The word population isn't even in there. It reads, maintain humanity under 500 million. Folks, these stones were not meant for us. They are not stones of dark prophecy. They are meant to be a set of guidelines for the surviving generation. These stones are meant to be read by people who are still around after something very bad has happened. Do you get it now? If people bothered to read the rest of the stone, they would see that. Doesn't make it any less creepy. In fact, it makes it even more unsettling because there is someone or some people out there who have information leading them to believe that the population is somehow going to someday drop below that particular number. And they believe it enough to spend money to put up these stones. More on that later. Let's move on to what's happening with Walmart. Now, the first thing I want to do is, I want to make this very clear to everyone. Hate is a strong word. I am not particularly fond of this company. I have been there on several occasions, but I don't normally purchase anything because in most cases, I'm there with someone else who shops there. And in most of those cases, I could not stand being in there. This company employs more than 2 million people worldwide. Oh, they are a mega giant, all right. Let me give you something to chew on. If you took Coca-Cola, if you took their money and combined it with Amazon, Macy's, Target, Sears, and Walt Disney, if you combine the profits of all those companies, it still would not come even close to what Walmart makes. I'm talking about a company that makes close to $500 billion annually. They have over 11,000 stores in 27 countries, so yes, they are a giant. A giant so big that they crush smaller businesses around them. Now this started out as Walton's Five and Dime in Bentonville, Arkansas, known today as the Walmart Museum. This was established in 1951 by ex-military and retail entrepreneur Sam Walton. And in 1962, he would open the first official Walmart store in Rogers, Arkansas, the Walmart Discount City Store. Now Sam was able to expand this business to over 1,900 stores made up of Walmart, Sam's Club, and a few Walmart supercenters. At that time, he employed around 380,000 people, generating sales of nearly $50 billion annually, until he died in April of 1992. Now the business was of course left to his family, but today, for the most part, the Waltons are no longer directly involved in the company. However, they still do own about half the shares of the company. So fast forward to 2010, and this is where it all started. Janet Napolitano, who at that time was the United States Secretary of Homeland Security, made a public service announcement stating that Walmart would be playing an active role in the DHS See Something, Say Something initiative. And this caused a few people to question Walmart's relationship with the government. Now, 5 years later, in 2015, something happened. Walmart announced that it would be closing several of its locations for several months due to plumbing problems that needed to be addressed. Whether that is true or not, people made a big stink about it, especially the employees. I mean, who wouldn't be upset about losing their job? But keep in mind, folks, they only closed 5 stores. 5. And I am pretty sure that they did not just fire all of the employees at those locations. I'm sure some of them transferred to other nearby Walmart locations. I'm pretty sure many of them had a second or third job, and I'm pretty sure many of them needed to be fired anyway. No? Have you ever been to a Walmart? I mean, we all know that Walmart and companies like them tend to hire a pretty lousy team of workers at the lowest wages possible. And the reason for that is, most big chain stores, fast food restaurants, when they hire people, the average hire only sticks around for about 3 months and then they quit. And you can't blame the workers for doing that. Look at the customers that they have to deal with in these places. How many of you remember the guy who walked into a Walmart, grabbed the baseball bat from the sports department, strolled on over to the CD department, and out of nowhere just clubbed the woman from behind while she was browsing for CDs? They have had so many fights there, they could conquer pay-per-view. There's been kidnappings, these ridiculous internet challenges. People even say that Walmart has this odd smell to it. You know, I really think that there may be some dark presence in many of these stores. And if that were to be true, then you would have to ask yourself, what kind of event or dark ritual would have to occur on the property to bring in that type of presence? Anyway, after these 5 stores closed, people went on to talk about how Walmart was using its locations to develop FEMA camps. Not the kids kind, the concentration kind. This is the story a few people were selling and many people bought it. I mean, if you close down one of these stores and then start installing razor wire fencing to keep people in, not to keep people out, the razor wire is on the inside of the fence intended to keep people from getting out. So of course you're going to have people looking at that saying, Walmart, you've got some explaining to do. Now after this, things did quiet down until last year, when Walmart decided to close 269 of its stores. People freaked out because of this, so let me explain what happened. You may think that 269 stores is a lot, but to Walmart, it is not. Not when you have 10,500 plus stores still in operation. And that was 269 stores worldwide, not just in the US, no. 154 stores closed in the US out of over 4,000. And the majority of those stores were the small, dollar store sized express Walmart locations, including some Supercenter and Sam's Club locations. Now they say they did this because they had plans to open another 300 locations in the future, and they wanted to primarily get rid of the express stores because of poor financial performance and focus more on building their supercenters. For obvious reasons. Money. You see, Walmart may be the retail giant, but their specialty is distribution. They are very good at moving merchandise efficiently and quickly, which is the secret to Walmart's success. So now that you have a bit more information on what has led to this dark theory, I want to point out something that I found very interesting. Now, if you were a military strategist during a time of war, or during a time of civil unrest, or during a state of emergency, you would want to have certain locations designated to be military outposts. You would want locations that are less than 15 minutes from any city, but secluded enough so that access to them could be easily blocked. You want a location that is near a water source, like a creek or river. You also want a location that is right off of a major highway or railway, an artery. You want the location to be surrounded by textile factories, chemical factories, storage facilities, metalworking facilities, training facilities. You want them to be close to stores that provide building materials like Home Depot and Lowe's, right? You want them to be close to carrier yards where they have a surplus of trucks and trailers, with a tire center nearby. You want a large, solid, warehouse-style building that can operate as a place of business for the meantime, but that can also be quickly gutted and transformed into a military base or a supply lot for disaster aid, storage, or a medical facility with a pharmacy, and even a holding facility or prison. It can serve several functions, and what better place to get all those things and more than at and around Walmart. Google maps some of the Walmart Supercenter locations and you will notice how these are strategically placed, which is probably why every Walmart has a large drain outlet by their building, as any military, medical, or holding installation like a jail would require efficient plumbing in case of flooding or other circumstances in an emergency event. Because if you have people in a hurricane shelter without proper plumbing, this is what happens. Remember, folks, earlier this year, the government wanted to use several Walmart locations in California and Texas as holding facilities for illegal immigrants, which is probably why you see the fencing on stores in those areas. But that whole idea quickly ended once a truckload of people died behind a Texas Walmart recently. Speaking of Texas, it is rumored that FEMA was taking Hurricane Harvey evacuees to some of these Walmart locations for shelter. People were saying, "Oh, they're taking people to Walmart. They won't let them out, and they're killing them in there." My thing is, there are way too many people who are using their cell phones and live streaming to not have any leaked footage of this. The only footage you may come across is of a truck with its tailgate open on an ABC News 13 broadcast. Now, you cannot see what is inside the truck, but in that broadcast, the reporter states that yes, people were in fact being transported to Walmart for shelter. And in that same broadcast, the reporter also states that these people were then being transported from Walmart to another city shelter. They just didn't know where, due to the fact that the main city shelter for evacuees was at full capacity. So the government did utilize some of these locations, just as I have stated before. They received $20 million from Walmart, the use of their buildings to set up pharmacies and whatever else they needed, and extra trucks to transport and supply hurricane victims. And that is as much as anybody knows, besides the people who were actually there. The fact is, the government could use these facilities for almost anything they want, including concentration camps. I do not think that is what's happening right now, but anything is possible, and only time will reveal that. I put nothing past these people. There are rumors that Walmart is digging tunnels. Now, everybody knows certain companies have these boring machines. I am still looking for the connection between these companies and Walmart, and most likely that connection would be in the form of a contract, because nobody's digging these tunnels for free. Truck drivers have admitted to transporting trailers through some of these tunnels that stretch across several states. I'm still trying to figure out how you drive down a tunnel that long without falling asleep. These drivers are hardcore. So yeah, if these Walmarts are strategically placed, then there very well may be tunnels nearby or running underneath that artery. But until they admit it, or someone gives us a leaked video tour from Walmart to the tunnel, we can only speculate. If you're really concerned and you want to avoid what Walmart might have in store for you folks, get yourself better prepared for emergencies. Stay alert to what's going on around you, where you live. Take these weather warnings seriously. Buy a few bug-out bag survival kits. Keep extra gas in storage, as well as getting in the habit of keeping your vehicle's gas tank on full. After it drops to 3/4 of a tank, fill it back up. Know where you are going to go and how you're going to get there, in case you have to leave your home. And do try to leave your home before the state of emergency is issued, because next comes the announcement of evacuation, and you do not want to be stuck in traffic with kids in the back seat and your gas tank on E, especially with some destructive force closing in on you. When it comes to Walmart and these FEMA camps, yes, they can do it, but as of right now, you are still more likely to have problems with other citizens committing crimes against you than the military, as of right now. But stay awake and focused, and keep the trust within your family and friends, not with strangers in the government, as they certainly could mean the difference between you keeping your freedom and or your life.